Please, please notice that this meeting is being recorded by Zoom for the purpose of taking minutes in Dalton Community TV. All those able, please rise for the pledge. And Mr.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
John Boyle.
Yes, here.
Tony Pagliuca.
Here.
Mark Stroud.
Here.
Chair Robert Bishop.
Here.
Our town manager Terry Williams.
Here.
And excuse me, Dan Mexico.
Okay, we have no minutes. Public address the board. This is the time when the public may address the board on any item listed on the meeting agenda or on any issue or matter of the town. If you intend to comment on an item listed on the meeting agenda, please do so at this time, as we will not be taking comments from the audience when the item comes up for board discussion. The public address to the board segment will last no longer than 30 minutes. Each individual will be given up to 3 minutes. If you intend on addressing the board at this time, we ask you to do the following. Please raise your hand to be recognized by the board chair. Please step up to the podium and speak into the microphone. Please identify yourself by name, address, or the company/institution you represent. Please address your comments to the board chair. Please make your comments concise and try not to repeat statements made by others. Discussion or debate on any issue may not take place at this time. The chair or the designee may ask questions on procedural matters. Anyone want to speak? Okay. All right, number 6, appointments.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we appoint David Pugh and Richard Hall to the Clear Air Committee effective immediately.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, David. Thank you, Richard.
Mr. Chairman, I move that item 7 be tabled.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Number 8, Municipal Resources, introduction and discussion. Terry, will we get our gentleman online and we will leave?
Are they here?
There.
Good.
Wonderful.
Folks, are you ready?
Oh yeah, there's policy.
I'm here.
You hear-
Robert?
You can hear it, Buzz?
Yes, I
Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
John,
I'm here. All right.
Enough. There's
do you want to come up
Bob
closer?
works here.
Mr. Chairman, we're both here.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Wonderful.
First of all, we'd like to thank you for taking on this assignment. We have 3 members of the advisory committee here and 4 members of select board. So we'll follow your lead here on this one.
All right. Well, what I think would be important is if Bob and I introduce ourselves, and then you folks introduce yourself, the select board members and the members of the town manager screening committee who are there, and then we'll explain how we approach searches of this nature. Is that acceptable to you? And then any other questions that you might have. We'll talk about what's important for us in the next several weeks and that sort of thing.
Sounds good.
All right. So Bob and I are with MRI, Municipal Resources, Inc. Municipal Resources, Inc. is a local government management consulting firm that does all manner of municipal consulting, from searches, recruitment and searches like we're doing now. The company has the president, Mr. Gould, and is not only a retired town manager, town administrator, retired police chief, so he has taken on, the company also takes on special police investigations for a variety of agencies as needed. They also do assessment centers for police and fire chief promotions. they've been doing that for a number of years. The organization's been in existence for well over 30 years, and in New Hampshire, which is the home address, they also provide a number of municipal services. They have an assessment package, assessing. They do municipal assessing, and we take on, Bob and I and the company has taken on special projects, staffing studies, and any kind of reorganization studies that municipalities are suggesting. Bob and I have taken those kinds of things on. So that's sort of a little background on MRI. Bob and I are both based out of Massachusetts. I'm a retired town manager. I was town manager in Wilmington, Massachusetts. And then 10 years ago, I retired after 25 years in Andover, Massachusetts as the town manager. And I've been doing this with Bob pretty much ever since. So I've lost track of the number of searches we've done, 50, 60 over the course of time. We generally do it, anywhere from, 3, 4, 5 a year, sometimes more, depending on the activity with the company. But I have, 40 plus years of municipal experience. And I'll just turn it over to Bob, and he can explain his background to you folks a little bit. Thanks, Buzz. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. First of all, on behalf of Buzz and Alan, and thank you guys for selecting us. We're thrilled. We know what Dalton is. I know what it is. I've been out there to the Berkshires in that area. Cute town, very nice town. Buzz and I have started to do our background investigations into it. Just a little bit of an accolade for you folks. We've done a lot of towns, as Buzz has suggested. I've watched your meetings. Civility is present in Dalton. I can't say that about some towns we've done in the past. So congrats to you folks. It's important for us. And I think it helps in any search, and I know Terry's there filling in for you folks, and we know Tom. Stability helps. It helps your recruitment. It helps us in finding potential candidates, because nobody wants to walk into a train wreck, to be honest. And you're not that. So that's going to help. So my background, I've been a town administrator and a town manager, so I know a little bit of the difference. Most of my career was in Burlington, Massachusetts. Frankly, I was there twice. I was their first town administrator through a change in their charter in 1980. And then I left there, and I took a little bit of a break into the private sector as the president of a regional chamber of commerce. And then I went over to Berwick as the town manager, and then went back to Burlington. In the year 2000. I retired in 2012, and I've done some interim gigs. I've been in Wayland, Massachusetts. I've been in Boxborough. To give you a sense of that, Berwick is about 45,000 people. Burlington's about 25,000 people. Wayland's about 13,000 people, and Boxborough's about 4,000 people. So I've been in a number of different communities, from the very small to the significantly larger communities. So that's my background. I've been with MRI a little bit longer than Buzz. We recruited Buzz to come with us once he retired. And we've been doing it ever since. And I enjoy it a lot, as does Buzz. And we love working with municipal officials. So we're very thankful for this opportunity.
John, you want to start?
Well, what questions?
Introduce yourself.
Oh, introduce myself.
Yeah.
I'm John Boyle. I'm a member of the Select Board.
Bob Bishop, member of the Select Board.
Mark Strout, member of the Select Board. Tony Pagliarulo, a Select Board member.
Can you say that?
All right.
Yeah, Lori Martinelli, I'm on the search committee. Welcome. Look forward to working with you.
John Bartels. I'm also on the search committee and co-chair with Lori.
Malia Carlotto, I'm on the search committee as well. Welcome.
Thank you.
Deb Mary, also a member of the search committee.
And I probably should introduce myself. Bob, Terry Williams here. I'm sitting over to the side and doing the usual town manager position and advising the select board as we go. So good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Gary, just a comment. You're going to be key to us. We're going to be talking to you pretty frequently, if you don't mind.
Good.
I've had some conversations with Lori already. I assume Lori's in the meeting or on the meeting with us tonight.
I'm here.
There's Lori.
All right. Thank you. In a search like this, we like to start off a meeting like this, and we'd like to have individual discussions with members of the select board and of the screening committee. So Lori's been kind enough to send us your contact information, and we'll be reaching out to you in the next few days to set up some time when we can have a half hour, a 45-minute discussion about the search and what are you looking for in your next town manager. The traits, the characteristics, those kinds of things. We want to find out, what exactly you want. And then we will ask you what are the opportunities and the threats coming up for the next 5 years. We like to tell prospective candidates what's in town, what's going on, any kind of issues that are going on, and a matter of things that we want to be able to tell them what's happening in the town, and then we would also like to talk to key department heads that you would recommend. Maybe not all of them, but perhaps the key department heads and often municipalities will say, well, you may want to talk to the town moderator, maybe either the planning director or the chairman of the planning board or something like that. So we like to talk to an additional, 5 or 6 folks to get, again, the very same thing, the traits and characteristics of the next manager, and what's going on in town that we need to know about that will help us in the search. So, Mr. Chairman, perhaps you want to discuss that amongst yourselves at some point tonight. Let us know what department heads you will want us to talk to, and then perhaps if Lori can, I'll be in touch with Lori for contact information and whatnot in the next couple of days. But so we're looking for for information about the town. We can obviously give you a lot on your website, which is very good, by the way. A lot of good information on your website, and that sort of thing is very helpful to us. But we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you folks on what you're looking for in your next town manager. And then we take that information, and after we gather, Bob and I will craft the job ad, and the job ad will go into the professional publications. It'll go into the Mass Municipal Beacon and the other leagues or municipal associations in New England. And we should talk about whether you want us to look put it in the New York Association of Towns, but it also the ad goes into the ICMA, International City Management Association newsletter, and that gets worldwide coverage. 10,000 members, and people who are interested in working in municipal government will go to that website and look on their job posts, just as they do for the Beacon, the MMA Beacon. if somebody in Pennsylvania or Colorado or Florida wants to work in Massachusetts, they will be looking at the MMA job website. It's a very, if you haven't been on it, it's a very good website, and there's all manner of municipal positions that are listed in that, on that website. And if you think it needs to be in the Pittsfield newspaper, we do that, obviously on your website, but that's really one of the first things we've got to get published in the next, say, 2 to 3 weeks is the job ad. And then we from the information you give us, we craft the community profile. And that's a document of, depending 5, 6, 7 pages. In the old days, it'd be a brochure, but people don't do brochures anymore and send them out to respective candidates. We develop a community profile, and it has a job ad, and it'll have a page that talks about the characteristics of the ideal candidate, talking about the education, the experience, and the traits that you want to see. And then we talked a little bit about the community budget information. I had a conversation with your town accountant, who provided me some good financial information about the town. I will craft that into a statement about the town's budget, finances, and then we'll put something in about the challenges in the community, and then we'll rely on Lori again to get us some photographs, iconic photographs of town that we would put into the job ad to give a kind of a little pizzazz there to entreat people with the look of the community. And we'd probably put in that wonderful 2 or 3 minute video about the town. Whoever did that has a terrific advertising piece. It's like a Chamber of Commerce piece about the community, and we would have that link embedded into the community profile, because that sells town. It really gives somebody from out of town a perspective of what the community is about. So the things we got to get out in the next 2 or 3 weeks is the job ad, and then probably a week after that, by the end of July, we would have the community profile ready to go. And that would be posted on our website. We would send that out to prospective candidates, people that we're calling, or people that are calling us, that we're reaching out to. And then you folks have put the job ad on your website, and also the community profile for prospective candidates to take a look at. Bob, did I miss anything on the first 2 steps here we want to get done in July? No, I think that's good. But a couple of other things was one to the board, I guess, to the select board. As you're thinking about other people we want to talk to, it's really your decision. But some towns, I don't know if you want to do that. Some towns want us, sometimes don't. Some towns want us to talk to the schools. And I know you're a regional district and all that kind of stuff, but the money comes from the same place, I guess, is our philosophy on that. So that's up to you. Sometimes they recommend the superintendent, sometimes we recommend the school chair, however you want to handle that. But that's just something we run across in most of our communities, simply because of the interrelationship of the monies. So that's up to you guys.
We said a good caucus, we have no problems with all we talk about a little bit. I was in school administration.
Yeah.
Perfect, that's good. It's up to you to make that call. The second thing I'll talk to you a little bit about, and Buzz alluded to it, is the app. The other thing we're going to need the select board to talk about a little bit is where you want to go with salaries. And I say that given what we know is the competitive level for these type of positions, you're in the western part of the state, so your competitive level in terms of salaries is not as, I don't want to call it egregious, but when you look at some of the eastern Massachusetts salaries, we've got some towns that are $250,000 in salaries. But you guys aren't there, but you're moving up, is what I'll tell you. And you probably know, and Terry probably knows, there is competition right now in the western part of the state. So you got to think about that. We saw that you advertised for 2026. We think we need to talk to you a little bit about that. We don't need to do that tonight, but what we're doing for the board's information is we're gathering some information, some statistical information that we'll share with you and kind of show you what you're up against in terms of recruitment, and then you guys can make some decisions. But that has to be done fairly quickly because, as Doug said, we'd like to get the ad out. The ad, by the way, runs for 30 days. That's what most of the venues require. You advertise at least 30 days, and that's what they charge you for. If it goes beyond that, sometimes they charge more. Sometimes the MMA lets it go. So anyway, we can talk to you about that. So the key trigger point for us going forward is to get that ad in. And when we get that in, we can start a lot of the other stuff, if you know what I mean. Your location, I think our thoughts are, is going to be a little bit restrictive in terms of the recruitment territory. The good news for us, and we highlight it in the packages of material we send you, we don't only do Massachusetts. We do a lot of communities. Buzz and I do mostly the southern part of New England. We've done Connecticut, Rhode Island. We did Winchester down in Connecticut, which is about 10,000 people. We did Manchester down in Connecticut, which is about 4,000 people. We've done Rhode Island. Alan and his team do most of New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont. And we recruit people from those areas. And a lot of it's revolving around folks who moved up there for various reasons and now want to come back to Massachusetts. So we've got that base of folks that not a lot of people reach, but we have some databases built on candidates that have applied in a lot of those communities. And as you know, Vermont, New Hampshire, they have a lot of communities of 6,000 to 10,000 votes. So we think we have some people we're going to be interested in. The question for them is relocation. And, hopefully, and we've seen it happen, some people want to come back. The one in Manchester, Connecticut, for instance, came from Wisconsin. And he was, he went to Wisconsin for about 5 years. Yeah. Massachusetts, born and bred, and he wanted to come back. And we didn't, some appointing authorities get a little bit nervous about that. But this young man was he was an assistant in Wayland, Massachusetts, and then moved out for an opportunity to be a manager. And then wanted to come back because his family's from Massachusetts. And he located with his wife and family down in Manchester, Connecticut, as their first town manager. And it's only a community of 4,000 people. But that individual, and by the way, the appointing authority down there loved him. They weren't worried about his ability to acclimate to how we do business in Massachusetts, vis-a-vis how they did business in Wisconsin, because he was in Massachusetts, he was in Wayland. So hopefully, as we go through this recruitment process, we find people like that who are interested in coming back to the area. And by the way, you've got a beautiful area to attract people. So those are just some things that, coming off the top of my head, that we think about as we go into these active recruitments. So that's my 2 cents. Happy to answer any questions you may have up to this point.
Board members have any questions?
I do, Bob.
Okay, go ahead.
My name's Tony Pagliarulo. I'm newly elected to the Select Board. I was a teacher in the system right here in Central Berkshire. And I know whenever we did a superintendent search, there was a lot of one-on-one discussion or even small group discussion with teachers at the various schools, with administrators, with parents, with students. I know this last interim position
we had two candidates and we made our decision within half an hour, what have you. Is there going to be opportunity for us, in your experience, to jawbone with people, candidates, privately, not in violation of the open meeting law, to get a sense of a bit less constrained or rigid discussion that we have in public, more of a private discussion? Is that something that's possible?
If I may, yeah, well, the short answer is, as the appointing authority, everything you do has to be in open session. Everything you do has to be in open session. But we've got some searches with some towns where they say, we don't want a screening committee, just bring us the candidates, we'll interview 3 or 4, and we'll make a decision. In your case, and to your credit, you have a screening committee. Their work is eligible for executive session, and your town council, your labor council will draft the chairs there, the co-chairs in motion to go into executive session to consider the resumes and then the interviews with the candidates. So that is their opportunity, sort of in an executive session. That is the executive session venue for them to interview the candidates. And we will help you and we will help them with the interview questions. But I think that answers your question, sir, that they have the exclusive ability to be in an executive session. You folks don't. What MMA does offer for the community is we can put together a website, an email address, so that people in the community can communicate with us about the traits and characteristics they would like to see in the next manager. It goes right to MMA. Excuse me. It goes right to MRI, and we will summarize for you folks and the screening committee what people tell us. We won't put in names attached. We know names. We're not going to send you anybody's names or addresses or anything like that. But we'll tell you that, folks were concerned about X, Y, and Z. Or that, a few people had A, B, C as issues. Other people had some other issues. In one community that we worked, we did that, and we got a flurry of emails about traffic around an airport. It had nothing to do with the search, but people were taking advantage of this venue to vent on a particular traffic problem that was going on in town. So oftentimes we get good information and then we share it. Other times we get people's opportunity to vent. They will vent and we'll let them know. We'll let you folks and the screening committee know what we get from the public.
Okay, no, that answers it.
Tell me, if I could, just expand on that a little bit. About a couple of the communities we've been in, and they're larger than you guys at this point, but the appointing authority asked us if we could do, what did we call it, Buzz? Just an open session and just invite people to come to the session with us and just tell us what they think, tell us what they want. Buzz just alluded to the anonymous email, which we find works as well. But those are larger communities with, I guess I'll call it activists in their community. You're probably familiar with some of those types of communities that people are very involved. In a decision like this, and I know it's different than the school superintendent. Both of us were managers. We understand that relationship and the search process in that relationship. In those communities, what we found is the same people who are active go to those sessions. You probably could name the folks who would go to those type of sessions in Dalton. And we believe strongly, and it's a little different, Tony, in terms of dealing with the superintendent, because there's a constituency base there. The families have kids. They want to understand that personal relationship that the school committee is going to have with their new superintendent and the superintendent's relationship with the community. Those aren't transferable things to a town manager. It's a different animal, so to speak. And we really feel that the ultimate decision makers at any point is the select board. That person, whoever we hire, is working for you. And but in terms of making those type of contacts, as Buzz explained, you got to be very careful with the open meeting law. And I agree with Buzz. I applaud you for the screening committee because we could do some detailed discussions with them in exec session.
Will we have access to those executive minutes of the screening committee?
Well, they have to be approved by the screening committee. What we're careful of, because don't forget, we'll be talking to the screening committee about candidates who aren't moving forward. And those people, believe me, don't want their names out there.
I'm not concerned with those individuals so much as the screening committee's authority to go into executive session, and then we would have access to those executive minutes to those candidates that would come before us. Just more information that we have.
Yep.
We do have access to those?
Well, I think we'd have to clear that with the final.
That's outside of good.
No, it's not really.
No, I'm just asking. I don't know if it is or isn't. I'm not,
Once it's hired, you can see it.
If I may, I think, just want to be clear with your town council. I don't think you're eligible for those minutes until the matter's been resolved. So that is after the appointment is made. What we work with the screening committee is we'll bring candidates to the screening committee, and we'll tell them everything we know about them. They'll get their resume, their cover letter, and then our office, the folks in our office are very diligent about doing background checks, Google check. This is not a reference check, but we will find out quite a bit about the candidate that you can get from a deep dive into Facebook or Google or whatever. And they will know, we will tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly about the candidates. And they will then decide who they want to interview. They'll interview folks, and at the end of the interview process, the interview day, we ask them to decide who they want to send forward to the select board. Now, you folks need to tell us and tell the screening committee how many people you want to interview. If you want to interview 3 or 4, certainly not 2. We would not advise 2 people, but we would suggest at least 3, perhaps 4, and you would get everything we know about, everything that's public about those candidates. The cover letter, the resume, and anything we know in terms of, I suppose, a Google background check, that kind of thing about those candidates. We asked the screening committee not to rank the candidates that they're sending forward. That's your decision to decide who you like best. What we have the screening committee is put together a slate of candidates, so-called, that can do the job. That any one of these 3 or 4, based on their background, their education, their experience, can be a good town manager for Dalton. But when you get into ranking and numbering 1, 2, or 3, it really puts, in our opinion, it puts the selectmen's role kind of as secondary. The select board's role, you've got to be picking who you want to work with. We have the screening committee to screen and to put forth folks that are qualified. Who can do the budget, the collective bargaining, the purchasing, the contract negotiations, the lead the department heads, all that, all the important tasks of the town manager.
This last question, you had mentioned earlier about being a competitive atmosphere, I agree. Are you going to provide us with guidance in terms of a number that we should establish when we're advertising? Are you looking for us to provide you with a number, or?
Salary.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, when I mentioned that, I forget who's talking here, but when I mentioned that, we know it's competitive. We've talked already to some of our contacts in your region, and they're telling us some information that we will, to your question, we will impart that information to you. And you guys can decide what that ultimate number should be. Should it be, where are you, 135? Should it be 150? Should it be 160? Should it be 130? We'll give you some information on that.
How soon do you need this number to get this show on the road, get it up and advertised?
I would say we need it in probably 3 weeks. We figure, the job ad, our goal is to get the job ad around on Monday the 21st, I think it is. Monday the 21st of, Monday the 21st of July.
The reason I ask that is we don't have a meeting until July 14th. And we don't want to be holding this project up. But on the 14th, the chairman has suggested to me that we're going to put it on the agenda. I'm not certain if it's an executive session discussion, but we'll find that out. And we'll have a number for you, or a range,
Yep. Well,
by the 15th.
All right, and we'll do our research. We can provide you with some comparable information.
Yeah, you can do that in the interim, so we can be prepared to make a recommendation on the 14th.
They usually want a range.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had suggested this to the former town manager. I already have a range. You voted on it. We did not vote on any range. We really got into it, I just dropped it, because that's what I argued.
Okay, we'll get that next.
Yeah.
We'll get that next.
He wanted to range he couldn't attract a janitor for it. It was unbelievably low. And, I don't know.
Whatever. Okay, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
And the other thing too, in terms of salary or total compensation, one of the things that communities do, we see is they'll provide a car allowance. Although I know you don't have a residency requirement, or you work to remove the residency requirement, I understand that. You cannot believe how important that is today. 20, 30, 40 years ago, not such a big deal. But today, to attract a candidate and say, oh, by the way, there's a residency requirement in that town, that's a considerable hurdle for a lot of candidates to get around. Yeah.
And definitely with the way the real estate market is around here, it may be almost impossible to find a rental or a mid-sized house in Dalton.
Right, and I'm just laughing because we had a guy, a very good guy, and we were recruiting him for another town. He said, "You guys are crazy. I got my 2 twins are in 7th grade. They're in middle school. Are you nuts? They would kill me if I told them that we were moving to East Overshire." And soon as they got out of high school, he was a candidate. He moved, and hopefully all is good. But today with the schools and the spouses working, whether you get a male manager or a female manager, 2 families working is very common, and that presents an issue with moving any distance proposed. So one other little complication that we're going to have is, as you know, it's the middle of the summer, and we're going to have to work with candidates in terms of their schedules, in terms of their vacation schedules and their work schedules. Obviously, it's past town meeting season. But, you know, it gets, we're gonna have to take your vacation schedules, screening committee's vacation schedules, and what the candidates, it's easy to say, well, if they want the job, they'll be there, for the Thursday interview. Well, they got, family vacation someplace out of state and whatnot, so we've got to work around, issues like that will come up as we move forward. So I think what I'm asking you folks are a little flexibility and patience as we move through this. I know our goal ultimately is to get somebody on board in the town hall by, I think, I read that Terry's last day is sometime at the beginning of, hoping it's the beginning of October.
October 3rd.
Yeah, and we're aiming for that. However, someone coming from another town, they may be very fortunate and give short notice. Other people are stuck with a month's notice, or some such thing like that, depending on their contract. So, Terry, I hope you don't have reservations for completing your whole flight on October 4th.
No, just Boston on October 7th, but I've already made it clear that I would be willing to negotiate extensions here. And, it's not the end of the world. I'm going in January. Hopefully you can wrap it up by January.
I think
Wait before that.
I think it's a consensus of the board that we would like to have someone on board for 2 weeks training period.
Yeah.
On or about
So,
mid-September.
and that's invaluable in my opinion. I had 2 weeks with Tom, and let me tell you, it was invaluable to me. I would have been, just drowning if I'd walked in and they said, here's the desk and the computer, turn it on and good luck. So no, I think it's helpful to have a chance to, show them, the flow, the work, all the files that are on the computer to find stuff, and then highlight what's really important these days, etc. So again, I suggested that would be the way to go, and I think it is.
Yeah, that's ideal. That's ideal. A couple other things that Bob and I want to bring up. I'll jump into this if you have any others. I think today, select boards have to be open for folks from other states, whether it's, as Bob had mentioned, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York. A few years ago, we did a town, and they said, no, they can't be anywhere from out of state. They got to know up 2.5. They got to know open meeting. I mean, got town meetings. They got to know this. They got to know that. That is going to limit your pool. Number one, they can only be in Massachusetts, born and bred. But number two, a professional manager, a professional administrator who has, experience, perhaps a master's in business administration or public administration, probably going to have this not rocket science. Annual town meetings are not rocket science. The Massachusetts labor laws, they're not that much different than other states' labor laws. So if a manager's negotiating, union negotiating in their home community, they have a sense of how it flows. The same thing with budget preparation, budget execution, budget management. So we're just saying, approach this with an open mind in terms of the background, the experience, and the former, and the position and the state from where they are coming or applying from.
That makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Makes a lot of sense, yeah.
And it's a different climate. We went in this one town, they got shit done, they got no town meeting. It's like, what do you mean? You know? But anyway.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I hear you. I agree, you can't limit yourself in today's environment where I understand that there may be up to 60 vacancies in the Commonwealth in managerial positions. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but it sounds like a lot of froth and turnover here. I don't know.
But we know that Adams is looking, right? And Adams is going to be, you know, competition with you folks. I know that Barry, a little different the way, but Barry just closed today for the town administrative search, and Hadley still hasn't gone out, and they still have an acting town administrator in Hadley. I'm not sure when they're going to start advertising in Hadley. So those they're not for sure.
Great Barrington turned away the finalists that they had, and oddly enough, you mentioned 2 is not a good number. I read that they had 2 finalists, and they rejected them both, and their interim is continuing, and they're starting their search again in Great Barrington.
Terry, you're right on that. We knew about that one. You know, but interestingly enough, when Bud's talked about keeping an open mind, Terry, you'll appreciate this, to keeping an open mind. We had a very strong candidate came out of DOR in one of our communities. He didn't get it, but he ended up as a town administrator, that's correct. And we thought he was a crack, and he has been very successful. So, and he's from state government. And there was some reticence on the part of the appointing authorities. And what does he know about local government? He's been a DOR, big organization, blah, blah. Anyway, he's been very, very successful since then. So anyway, that's just a little added, keep an open mind to the type of candidate we might be bringing.
Bob, can we turn our attention to the screening committee to see what their questions are? I'm sure they have.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't have a particular question. I'm just, you were saying you're going to do one-on-one interviews with everyone, and they're going to start at what point in time?
Well, we'll send you folks email this week saying that we're available next week, these times. When would you like to schedule a telephone call with us?
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
So it'll be, it'll be after the 4th. We'll let you folks know what our contact information is, when we're available, and when we can have one-on-one conversations. We're going to split up the group. Bob will take, maybe 3. I'll take 2. I'll take maybe 3 of the select board members. He'll take 2. And anyway, so our goal is to get the select board one-on-ones, the screening committee, and the selected department heads done. Let's say, probably by the middle of the second week, by the week of the 14th. Want to make sure we get everybody done, and have the job ad ready to go at the end of that week. And then when that's done, then they'll get started on and we'll finish up the community profile.
Plus, will you be attending or wanting to, I'm sorry, or wanting to zoom in on any of the search committee meetings?
Are we ready for that yet, was? The date for the search committee? That's a good point, because everybody's busy during the summer, they want to try to lock down those dates. Well, certainly, yeah. If the co-chairs are there, if you have some dates in mind that you would like to
We haven't set up any dates. The last meeting we had was a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and it's dates to be determined. It all depended on what you needed from us and how you are going to proceed. So we're open at this point in time, with the exception of maybe vacations, as you were saying, that have been under.
Well, I would think that's the week of the, I don't know, the 14th or,
The week after the 14th, we could maybe set up something?
They want it
The
out
week
till
of
the
the
end of that week.
the week of the 21st is fine, yes?
I can do that.
Okay.
By the 21st. We can get back to you on a
Yeah.
particular day,
We can-
if that's okay. We'll schedule something for around that time.
That's good.
I'm open, you know, any late afternoon or evening that week. Yeah, that doesn't work, but we're gonna try to get our, interviews with you folks one-on-ones done the week before that. Hopefully, if everything, we can connect with everybody. All right. So,
Bob, can we talk to, Bob, you still there, the chair?
Yes.
So, one of the things that always enters into these processes is our direct point of contacts. The problem with the public arena is people can't make decisions unless it's a board decision. And you've got to convene a board and, and all that kind of stuff, and it's just tough. Well, we're playing with it now. It's just tough to get people's calendars so you can make decisions at a meeting. So what we like to do is have each board, the select board and the screening committee, designate a point of contact for us. And it could be the chair, it could be a different member. It's just, it allows for the flow of information for us to get back without the necessity of convening meetings and those type of things. And how you disseminate that with the information we provide you is really up to you. As long as you don't violate and ask for their opinions, the other board members' opinions on certain things. But anyway, it's an important thing. I know we're going to be contacting Laurie a lot, probably Terry a lot. But for the two boards, a primary contact is usually pretty important for us. And one of the things that I can tell you about recent experience with this is currently the record. A big town, a little different. Are you ready for this? 13-member screening committee. So one of the things that they've done is they've designated the chair of the screening committee and its vice chair and secretary. They've got a full-blown committee there, so they have the chair, vice chair, and secretary. Those are the three principal contacts for BuzzFM. So any communications we have, we send our information to those three. It's not a forum. So they have been designated by their group to be the principal contacts for us. Similarly, Bob, from your end, the select board normally designates the chair or the vice chair or another member to be the principal contact. You guys kind of think about that.
If I could interrupt you for a brief second, we just had a quick caucus here, and we are in complete agreement that we designate the chairman as the contact person. Not an issue.
all right, good, thank you. That's perfect. Yeah, and one of the reasons, the logistics of all of that, for instance, Bob, if Buzz and I get a draft ad to you before your meeting, and you say, it's good, looks good to me, let's go with it, and we advertise it on the 14th, and everybody else says, but I never saw it, I would have commented, blah, 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 blah. That delays the process going forward. Similarly for the search committee, same type of thing that happened. So, what Rebecca said, and it's been more consistent than not in all of our towns.
Well, I think,
How many you guys We hired these guys to prepare this stuff.
I think
Yeah.
if that occasion arose, the chairman would share that document with each of us individually, and we would designate him as the contact person to pass that decision on to yourself.
Okay, yep.
So,
That's just logistical stuff we need to know. Yeah.
and as always, the good old Jerry, the town manager over here, he's available 24 hours a day.
Yeah, you bet. They're paying you the big bucks.
Weekends too.
Holidays.
Holidays.
The rest never wicked. The wicked never rests, whatever it is.
And we'll get a name to you for this, from the screening committee.
That's fine, and if it's two folks, that's all right. We just don't pick that fine.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. So let me see. So we've got, both of us, I guess, have some to-dos. We've got to get ready to interview some folks. We're going to send out notices to the individuals, as Buzz said. We'll coordinate individually with those individuals. We'll start preparing an ad. We'll start to get you, the select board in this case, and I think, John or Bob, you might have mentioned you want to have that for the 14th, or before the 14th, so you can decide what you want to do in terms of salary in the
Yeah, we're
end.
gonna put it on our 14th agenda.
Well, Bob, I think if they have a general feeling for the market, they could suggest it to you. You can talk to us individually, and we can have it before the 14th.
Yes, we can do that too.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
trying to get things going here.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
you have a market analysis or cash references? Convey it to Bob. Bob will convey it to us individually, and we will come up with a figure. Within a week.
We'll be in touch with you in advance of the 14th to let you know what our sort of our salary survey tells us. For compensation rates in your area in Berkshire County.
That'd be great.
I'm sorry?
That'd be good. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Okay, oh, okay, yeah. I'll be talking to Terry as well on this,
He's the man.
Yep. You got my phone number.
You guys got any more questions or anything? Yeah, you all set?
Yep.
Okay, I think we're good.
Thank you.
all right,
Thank you, Buzz and Bob.
we appreciate it. Well, appreciate it, folks. As Bob said, we're excited about this engagement, we're looking forward to working with you folks and getting you some candidates, some excellent candidates to consider, and appoint one of the ones that you like the best is the next town manager. It's gonna be an exciting process for all of us.
Okay,
Sounds great.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, folks. We'll be happy. Good night. Good night.
This is a great that's your last time. Yeah, I wait till well, if there's any suggestions anywhere near that, I'm good with it. It was 14 himself, put that in right now. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
I know what you think.
Okay.
Well, Bob, have your mouth.
One more thing on this, who do we want for department heads?
Police chief,
Police chief?
where are we at? Yeah,
Number,
highway superintendent.
Who's the second, what town accountant?
Town treasurer.
Sandy, Don?
Yeah.
What do you think?
There you go.
I like all of those so far. They're critical. I have to think about what those are technically the most critical that I can think of right now off the top of my head.
Building inspector or?
DPW, chief of police, town accountant.
town treasurer.
Do we want the superintendent or the superintendent?
Yeah,
School.
he's, he's brand new. He's just actually officially starting tomorrow.
I think that'd be-
I know.
That'd be-
But he has been the assistant there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, he might be worth talking
It's our
to.
largest budget.
Yeah.
And as an interim person, it's not like they don't have.
Yeah, and then,
Who you talking about?
Michael Hanall.
Well, he's the superintendent.
Yeah.
He's assumed.
I mean, he's not running the district?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be Michael and Sherry, superintendent.
Yeah.
okay,
A lot of new blood around here.
Superintendent of property. Jeff Birch.
no, building and ground super?
Yeah.
Works directly to him.
It can't hurt because, again, the buildings,
don't
there's
know
a
what
lot
the
of
property
question marks
is.
with that police station.
At what station?
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah, what condition they're in?
Yeah, and he's got his thumb on that one.
Got that, Lori? Got them all? Okay, that's
I
it.
think, Jeremy recommended town planner to be.
Town planner would be a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that should be enough.
Yeah.
And I think that's sufficient. I think that really hits all the high
Nice
points
ones, yeah.
that you want.
Agreed.
Okay, good on that.
Yep.
Okay, Clean Air Committee update.
Okay, so with the appointment tonight of David Pugh and Richard Hall, we now have a full complement. So we will be posting, and in line with the open meeting law, our next meeting is July 14th, 4 o'clock. Heather, I will give these names to, and she will get us going on that. We'll have our agenda with the chair, vice chair, what have you. Just as a brief review, we met informally, and we reviewed our mission. Berkshire Environmental will be at our next meeting also, Maura Hawkins. We reviewed the planning board permit, the select board letter averting our support of the Dalton Clean Air Coalition, the zoning enforcement officer's report, notice of intent from the Conservation Commission dating some 3 years ago almost. And so we had some action items, and I know, Terry, you're going to be speaking to today's meeting briefly, but there's sort of an overlap here and overlap.
Yeah.
Conservation Committee wished to know if we can submit a new NOI, a notice of intent, for his building permit, which is coming up this fall, and he said we could do that. Our attorney said that, and so I'll relay that. The Board of Health communicated with the Department of Environmental Protection regarding monitoring regulations. Again, our attorney is helping us here. I just received a call from
Right, and
DEP.
Maura Hawkins involved.
Right. Select Board communicated with the town manager regarding mowing and seeding of map 105, lot 16. Again, that'll be addressed in terms of our attorney advising us.
Right.
The planning board permit, it's all part and parcel, leading to this fall's permitting involving the Board of Health, Conservation Commission, etc. And we also discussed the aggregate base course, what's going on there. They're grinding up, bringing materials in, and again, an attorney has spoken to that issue. And when I say spoken to that, we met today in terms of the various bylaws, so we drafted quite a nice letter there. And yeah, I think that covers our future committee. As I said, we'll have that ready for July 14th, so that's looking good. So,
We're gonna keep your Clean Air Committee update on the agenda.
please, absolutely, Bob. And as with town manager, I think those are the two hot button issues. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Let me just see, maybe I should save this for the remarks, but I want to say it now. Save the remarks? Okay, fine.
Okay, Terry, town manager update.
Okay, so I'd like to point out that the most important event of last week was that the police budget was approved at the special town meeting last Thursday evening, just in time to allow the force to continue normal operations tomorrow on July 1st. And so, by the way, we'll have to all say Happy New Year tomorrow.
Yeah.
And tonight is at New Year's Eve, so everybody can, partake after the meeting. John, Tony, and I had a successful Zoom meeting with Alex Weishite this morning discussing specific bylaws that address some of the most persistent issues surrounding the BCC dust mitigation efforts. He's working on drafting, actually, I think he's kind of done it almost, a zoning enforcement request letter on behalf of the select board and a zoning enforcement order for the building inspector if needed. He also is working on the Board of Health regulations for air quality. He's doing all of that. Separately now, on a new subject, I worked on some contracts from the FERCog today in which multiple towns, including Dalton, make agreements for various DPW needs, such as procuring hot mix asphalt materials and road and street line painting services. This is annual updates, but I'm more or less doing docu-signs to, along with, it's amazing, one of the contracts has probably 70 small towns in Western Mass all signing there. It's very fascinating. As noted earlier in this meeting, we postponed an appearance of the Public Works Commissioner Ricardo Morales, who was going to address the updated intermunicipal agreement for sewer treatment. Bob, John, and myself are setting up a meeting with him, the mayor, and their council to work out the final details of this contract, and then hopefully he'll be available on the 14th of July. I think he had said he might be available, but we'll certainly wrap that up. We had been approached by a group that would like to consider opening a so-called farm brewery at the stationery factory. A farm brewery uses locally sourced ingredients in their beer. Steve Sears suggested that the group meet with a couple of the members of the select board and myself, and sometime we'll arrange that. Concerning the ownership of River Run, we have engaged one of our attorneys in Boston, a specialist, to conduct an attempt to find documentary evidence that this road is either public or not. And finally, we're working on an updated annual contract with the CRA for the summer parks programs. So that wraps it up for me.
Something about busy.
Gary, when you did a sec, and you tell your attorneys, I don't know which one, I think it's female.
Katie?
I think we have, you probably don't know about this, we own a piece of land up on Northbound.
Oh, yeah, we've already started, is it?
Yeah, well, they made any progress.
Part of the Barber property, is it?
Yes, it was.
Yes, yeah, I forgot to mention that has been determined that it's not in the APR.
No, it's not. So let Tom, should say nothing about it. I knew that wasn't true. He was going to have it researched. I was wondering if there was any status on that.
Yeah.
They found that it wasn't.
I believe that they have found that it is not.
No,
in
it's
the
just an ordinary piece of land.
So,
In your busy time. Now, two things along that line. I've been told by a couple of sources that when the town has procured property by tax title, they can no longer just sell or auction or convey that property. Now, according to some recent state law, you have to hire a real estate agent and book it with them for a year, with the idea being you're going to get the most money out of it. It sounds like it's a thing from the real estate lobby, but you might want to look into that too. Dawn would know about that.
yeah.
Because she's in charge of getting rid of excess property. But anyway, that's clear to go now, right?
I believe so.
So anything you can do to facilitate us having an auction or solicit bids, we want to get that out of our book. Back in the private hands and
Some taxes.
tax money in and liability out.
And, unfortunately, I don't think there's any direct access to it.
There is a right of way.
Uh-huh.
If it is landlocked, but there's a right of way.
Right.
It goes to the property.
Yeah.
But it's, a right of way is a right of way.
I'm wondering how, much of a, attractive it's going to be.
Well, it's the only people, we've had one inquiry from a private property, but the only property people that are really interested in it is the abutters for obvious reasons. Because they surround it.
Right.
So, I mean, only makes sense to debate that, but we just can't do that. We have to go through the procedure.
Right.
And the sooner we can start that, the better.
Okay. Anything else with Terry?
I'm done.
Okay. Items not anticipated, 48 hours.
Future, number 11,
I
Brian.
got it crossed off before I got it. Future agenda items.
I have two. I mentioned this earlier, and I know this evening we've got a full agenda, but next time, a select board policy and procedure manual.
Yep.
There are individuals who are interested in serving that committee.
So we could appoint some people maybe.
Yes, ask for letters of interest and get that off the ground.
Tony, you can help me because you have some of the names.
I do.
know one of them, but.
I do, I have several,
Okay.
so that'll be good. The other thing is, I had mentioned this to you about some time ago, I know they're voting on it this week, I believe, pilot, payment in lieu of taxes. I'd like to submit some information to the select board here, again, to draft a letter to our sister communities and our representatives. Dalton has 4,400 acres, which is owned by the state or federal authorities. We receive approximately $21 per acre in tax money.
Yeah, that's the state pilot program that comes through on the cherry sheet.
Right, and the treasurer for the state has indicated that we should be receiving a lot more money. So again, raise taxes, inform our sister communities that we'd like to push this.
That's been as you know, a kind of a tough subject for particularly the western part of the state because, the valuations are very low out here because a lot of it's considered backland. It is the people I used to work with, the Bureau of Local Assessment at DOR, is responsible for, keeping up the valuations of that property, and they'll make your head spin if you ask what I'm going to do.
Well, there's information I want to share. We're being undervalued in terms of us providing an environmental resource to the state and out the country.
Yeah, I mean, they should, under that guise, they should be raising it, but they've never considered that.
No.
It's always just considered, how would this sell if it was on the open market? And they go, well, there's no roads, it's way in the middle of nowhere. So it's,
But it's a carbon sink,
yeah,
which is,
right, there's a lot of things, but,
Good.
okay.
Good.
I'm good. Those are the two, but yeah.
Okay. So items not anticipated 48 hours before the...
I don't think we had it, Mr. Not on there.
Okay. Remarks of the select board.
I do, too. Tomorrow begins the first day of community composting, so just a heads up to everybody. The bid was accepted, as we know. The red shed is ready to take all kitchen waste aside from litter and wrappings of any kind, so that's ready to happen. And finally, the swap shop. That is going to happen. We need volunteers, but it may be that Bark will provide us. I know John Kelly was here, and so he's the gentleman, Mr. Singer, is meeting with Bud. I want to give Bud all the credit for this because he's put a lot of time into both community composting and the swap shop. So hopefully, if we can get those volunteers in place, we'll have an up and running swap
For the
shop.
community composting stuff, how to go about it? Is that on the town website or anything? Is there?
I think it is. Yeah, I think we put it up there.
Believe it or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, people can take their own containers, go to the,
Just kitchen waste and...
all kitchen waste.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure that I did put it in. I don't know that I received anything. I'm gonna double check.
I know
Yeah.
that poster out, I thought that was what was on the town
We need
website.
clear-cut things that they can bring there, otherwise you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's everything but kitty litter and cellophane, styrofoam, plastics.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, things that can turn into dirt over
Any
time.
fats, any waste from the kitchen. Okay, that was it.
Okay,
About this, those two.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, announcements. The Dalton Cemetery trustees will hold 2 informational sessions regarding green burials at Ashland Street Cemetery. The sessions will not only be to explain green burials and answer questions, but to receive suggestions from residents. Both sessions will be at the Dalton Senior Center. The first session will be September 16th, 2025, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. The second session will be Thursday, September 18th, 2025, 6:30 to 7:30. Town is seeking volunteers, including for its cultural council, responsible for reviewing arts and cultural grants, proposals, and improvement projects. For other volunteer opportunities, please visit the town's website. The town of Dalton currently has the following employment opportunities: town manager and DPW motor equipment operator. Please visit the town website or contact the town manager's office for more information. Dalton's official meeting postings, agendas, and minutes can be reviewed at mytowngovernment.org/01226. The next meeting of the regular select board is scheduled to take place on Monday, July 14th, 2025, at 7 p.m. at the Dalton Senior Center, with an option for remote participation. With that, a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Is the 14th a holiday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.